We got a new president, a new national champion, go Bucks, and a new episode of Raw on Netflix all in the same 24 hours. What a time to be alive. The longest running weekly episodic wrestling show in streaming history rolled into Dallas, Texas last night, just 6 nights before Saturday night's main event on NBC, and the action started even before the show itself started. The show opened with pre-recorded clips of the superstars entering the American Airlines Arena as Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley was ambushed by Nia Jax until Adam Pearce and WWE officials stopped the beatdown. Wade Barrett's on commentary tonight with Michael Cole as Pat McAfee is in Atlanta for the coronation of the Ohio State Buckeyes as the 2025 national champions. The show opens with main event Jey Uso making his way to the ring, even dancing with Michael Cole, who seems to be yeeting on our screen more and more each week. I'm more and more uncomfortable each week. Jey then says how this Saturday on Saturday night's main event, he's finally taking home the big one and will defeat Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship, which properly brings out the ring general. Gunther says he was looking forward to facing Jey until he saw him acting like a complete dork and calls him a company mascot for the crowd. Gunther says it doesn't matter to him at this point. He could as well just be facing Jimmy Uso, which gets under Jey's skin, warning Gunther not to speak about his brother. Gunther responds it doesn't matter what Jey says, as he never follows up on his words before saying, unlike the crowd, Gunther isn't naive enough to believe what Jey says. Gunther calls Jey a useful idiot before claiming on Saturday he will expose Jey as a flash in the pan who has no business being this close to the World Heavyweight Championship. Jey responds saying he is a mascot and the crowd is his team. They've always been with him and will be with him when he defeats Gunther this Saturday. Jey then tells Gunther he respects him, but Gunther better respect him as well before reminding Gunther that only one of them is main event at WrestleMania and it's not Gunther. This enrages the world champion who begins to attack Jey before Jey super kicks Gunther out of the ring. A decent opening segment. This match is basically a foregone conclusion, but at least they're trying to build up some interest with these promos. If nothing else, it's garnering more support for Jey, like he needs it, whilst giving Gunther a bit of his edge back after he began doubting himself following the Cody Rhodes loss at Crown Jewel. Backstage, the New Day finally found someone who understands them as they meet up with WWE Hall of Famer JBL. JBL will be the special guest commentator for Kofi's match against, in his words, the hypocrite and so-called locker room leader Rey Mysterio. Xavier Woods then asked JBL if he can let everyone know how the New Day have been victims of a disgusting smear campaign as Kofi Kingston slips $2 into JBL's pocket. Kofi says JBL understands them as he was once in a tag team and had to cut the dead weight, but when he did, he went on to have the greatest success of his career. JBL then says he doesn't blame the New Day for cutting Big E. I mean, with all of his muscles and charisma and personality, everywhere they went, people loved Big E and everyone chanted because they wanted to see Big E. If they got rid of Big E, then people had to pay attention to them. Upset by the backhanded compliment, New Day storms off, leaving JBL to question if he can keep the $2. After a commercial break, Kathy Kelly's backstage with Bayley, who has announced she's officially back on Raw in the transfer window and is declaring herself for the 2025 Women's Royal Rumble, looking to win back-to-back Rumble matches. Nia Jax then walks in and claims she will take out Tiffany Stratton and win the Royal Rumble match. The two will meet later tonight on Raw. The New Day come out for Kofi Kingston's match next on Raw and demand their music is shut off at the sound of Big E's voice before a chorus of New Day sucks chants echo throughout the arena. Kofi's wearing black jeans and has a much more aggressive attitude in his entrance and his match. He even stole JBL's $2 back out of his pocket. Towards the end of the match, Rey Mysterio delivers a 619, but Kofi Kingston blocks the splash by getting his knees up. Kofi goes for an SOS, but Mysterio counters with a roll-up to score the win. After the match, Xavier Woods attacks Rey Mysterio, causing Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro of the LWO to come down and make the save as New Day quickly escapes. We go backstage to see Chad Gable and American Made are being interviewed by Kathy Kelly. Chad knows he has a luchador problem after losses to Penta, Dragon Lee, and Rey Mysterio, but has sought the advice of someone who knows Lucha Libre, Dominic Mysterio. Ivy Nile then says the Women's Intercontinental Championship has her name on it, while the Creed brothers declare their intentions for the World Tag Team Championships. Sami Zayn then comes to the ring and announces he has officially entered into the 2025 Royal Rumble match. He mentions that last week on Raw, Seth Rollins told him he spends all of his time helping other people and that maybe it's time Sami helped himself. Zayn states there's a small group of people on the planet who are WWE superstars and an even smaller group of people that are in the top tier of WWE. Sami believes in his heart he is as good as anyone in that group, but the difference between himself and guys like Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Drew McIntyre is that they have a world championship to their name while Sami Zayn doesn't. Zayn says he doesn't need the world championship to complete him, but he does want it, so he's going to take it. This brings out Kevin Owens wearing a Bret Hart jacket with the Windigo Championship over his shoulder. The Bret Hart fanboy in me is insanely happy right now. Kevin Owens enters the ring and Sami Zayn questions how Owens wants to handle this, as Sami Zayn has seen what Kevin Owens did to Cody Rhodes just for teaming with Roman Reigns in the past. Owens admits he was a bit upset with Sami for teaming with Roman at Survivor Series, but the more Owens thinks about it, the more he realizes it wasn't like when Cody teamed with Roman. Sami had a lot of history with Roman Reigns, just like Kevin and Sami have a lot of history with each other. Reigns did some terrible things to Zayn that Sami chose to overlook. Owens has done terrible things to Sami that he's overlooked. Sami forgave Kevin just like he forgave Roman. That's who Sami is. Sami's a good person. Owens is here simply as a friend to say he believes wholeheartedly that Sami Zayn will win the Royal Rumble and that Sami Zayn deserves to wrestle for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. Owens mentions how they've done so much in the business together, even main eventing WrestleMania together, but now they need to main event WrestleMania for the WWE Championship. Owens knows Sami Zayn will win the Royal Rumble because he's got Sami Zayn's back, and he'll walk out of the Rumble WWE Champion because just like Sami had Roman's back, Sami will have Kevin's back. He finished the promo saying, as his best friend and his brother, if he needs Sami, he'll know he'll be there for him. Sami looks conflicted as Kevin Owens walks off. What a great promo between the two, adding an unexpected wrinkle into the WWE Championship ladder match at the Royal Rumble, with Kevin's expectation of Sami to help him win the title. This multi-layered Roman Reigns storyline is impacting so many WWE superstars right now and may truly be their best piece of storyline work ever. You truly have to watch every little detail on every show because so many people are connected. From Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, to CM Punk, Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins, to Paul Heyman, to Sami Zayn, to the Bloodline, LA Knight, and now Braun Strowman, to even Gunther and Jey Uso. So many people's lives are currently being impacted by Roman Reigns in the last 4 years of television. This storyline is truly rewarding to the fans who have hung on to every little detail, and the road to the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania have the potential to be the best in company history. I'm interested to see what happens on Saturday night's main event, as Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens will sign their contract with Shawn Michaels as a special guest moderator. Well, we now have a Sami Zayn appearance in the mix. I believe at some point between now and the Rumble, we will have a confrontation between Cody and Sami, which could only thicken the plot more. Backstage, Kathy Kelly's with Sheamus ahead of his Intercontinental Championship match this Saturday against Braun Breaker. Sheamus says he's been living his career backward, and he started off defeating John Cena for the WWE Championship and has been chasing the Intercontinental Championship ever since, before saying, "Let's go Irish." How'd that work out for you, fella? Braun Breaker enters the shot and holds up the championship, saying this is as close as Sheamus will ever get, warning Sheamus to retire. Back in the arena, Roxanne Perez is shown in the crowd as we go to our next matchup of Bayley versus Nia Jax. During the match, Bayley dives through the ropes, taking out Nia Jax before getting in Roxanne's face, following up on their confrontation last week on NXT. Roxanne attempts to slap Bayley but eats a right hand for her trouble as security intervenes. Towards the end of the match, Nia delivers a pop-up Samoan drop and a senton before crushing Bayley with an Annihilator for the win. After the match, Rhea Ripley comes out and begins to brawl with Nia Jax. The two spill to the floor as officials attempt to separate them before Rhea grabs a microphone and challenges Nia to a match on Saturday night's main event. The match started off alright, but picked up towards the end. Bayley seemed like a bit of an afterthought towards the end, but I'm glad her impending feud with Roxanne Perez continued to intensify. I expect those two to mix it up in the Rumble before hopefully Roxanne gets called up to Raw. As for Nia and Rhea, similar to Gunther and Jey Uso, I don't see a huge threat for Rhea losing her championship, but at least WWE is trying to put the champion in a bit of jeopardy. We go to the Judgment Day Clubhouse where Chad Gable is asking Dirty Dom for some help. Dom says he knows a guy who can help him out while handing him a piece of paper as Chad exits, saying he's off to master the dark arts of Lucha Libre. You know, it's convenient that a certain someone just became a free agent and also runs a training gym called Dark Arts Gym. It's even more convenient this person feuded with Penta in AEW. It'll be interesting to see if this is how Aleister Black is brought back to WWE, or maybe it's someone completely different. Who do you think Dom is sending Chad Gable to? Let me know in the comments below. As Chad leaves the shot at the Judgment Day, except for a visibly missing Finn Balor, questioned Dominic Mysterio, who simply states it's never a bad thing for Chad Gable to owe them a favor. JD then announces next week Adam Pearce is giving the Judgment Day their rematch for the World Tag Team Championship, but Finn Balor's laid up and won't be there. Liv jokes saying listening to Finn hasn't led to much winning lately, before Dom steps up to be the replacement partner. Liv calls Dom the little mastermind before hoping this plan turns out better than the one he had for her match against Rhea Ripley. Dom says he thought Liv wasn't mad, but he'll make it up to her anyway, to which Liv responds he will, before dragging him out of shot as Carlito's eyes go buggy. All we needed was the ooga sound effect and some cartoon pop-out eyes. We get a video for the Women's Intercontinental Champion Lyra Valkyria saying she'll defend the title against anyone before we go backstage where Sami Zayn walks up to Seth Rollins. Sami thanks Seth for their chat last week and said they got through to him. Rollins says it's about time for that Sami Zayn to show up. But if push comes to shove in the Royal Rumble, he'll throw Sami Zayn over the top, to which Sami replies, "Not if I throw you out first." We go back to the ring for our next match as Penta takes on Pete Dunne. Penta has an updated firewall and even more pyro behind him this week. I love that they're already adding more and more to his presentation and putting the full investment into Penta. Penta and Pete Dunne have a great back and forth match, once again showing off Penta's exciting moveset. At the end of the match, Penta escapes a triangle choke before snapping Dunne's arm with a sacrifice and hitting the Penta driver for the win. Another great showcase of Penta. His matches have really become must-see TV for 2 weeks in a row now, and he's really building momentum quickly. It'll be interesting to see when and against who his first feud will be. I wonder if Logan Paul's promo immediately after the match could be a teaser. Logan says people have been wanting him to fail for years, but he never will. When he does something, he becomes the best at it. He says he's the only man in history to defeat Floyd Mayweather before saying this is his life now and he will eat, sleep, and breathe wrestling until he becomes the greatest. Logan Paul will make his Raw debut next week. Also announced for next week on Raw, the Warriors will defend the World Tag Team Championship against JD McDonough and Dirty Dom. WWE Champion Cody Rhodes is scheduled to appear, and we will have the Tribal Chief Acknowledgement Ceremony for Roman Reigns. Plus, they're in Atlanta, so we have the potential of a Goldberg appearance. In the crowd, CM Punk's interviewed by Jackie Redmond. Punk says he's the maker of history. He says the Royal Rumble, the pressure's on, and that's when he comes alive and thrives. He says no one can beat him when he's at his best and when he has the people behind him. He says he can't see John Cena throwing him over the top rope. Roman Reigns needed Punk's help to settle family business. He said he put Drew McIntyre in the dirt, and he says Sami Zayn isn't on his level. He even says he could put Hulk Hogan in the Rumble, and he'll throw him over the top rope and kill Hulkamania. Punk says he's settling scores and cashing debts at the Rumble. He'll call in a favor or two if he needs to. In the end, only one man's getting his hand raised, and that's CM Punk. A very strong promo from Punk, just adding to the intensity of this year's Royal Rumble. But I can't help to question CM Punk's true intentions. He's been pandering to the crowd more and more each week, and I question how genuine he's really being. I'm just saying, desperate men do desperate things. Back in the ring, we got women's tag team action as Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark of the Pure Fusion Collection take on Damage Control's Dakota Kai and Io Sky. The two teams have a decent match, with Zoe Stark being the standout in the match, showing off some of her impressive offense. In the end, Io delivers an over-the-moonsault to Shayna to secure the win for the team. It wouldn't shock me if Zoe and Io make deep runs in this year's Royal Rumble. I truly think Io may be a dark horse to win the entire thing. And in our main event, we have a WrestleMania 40 rematch as Drew McIntyre took on Seth freaking Rollins. These two put on a great main event, but the talking points will happen after the match. After Seth Rollins countered a short arm clothesline by Drew McIntyre into a surprise roll-up to score the win, McIntyre began viciously assaulting Seth Rollins. Drew delivers a massive Claymore kick before positioning Seth's head against the ring post to deliver more damage, but before he can, Sami Zayn runs down and attacks Drew McIntyre. McIntyre lays out Zayn with a Glasgow kiss and then goes back to work on Seth Rollins, telling him they should have been fighting on the same team. Zayn re-enters the fight and attempts a haluva kick, but McIntyre moves, causing Sami to hit Seth. Sami's visibly upset, and Rollins is furious to end the show. The best show ending of the Netflix era so far, as we have more questions than answers. Sami Zayn is trying to prove he's top tier in WWE, especially after CM Punk's comments earlier in the show. Everyone is so interconnected right now, heading into the Royal Rumble, that for the first time in a long time, WWE has multiple guys with a legitimate case to win the Royal Rumble. They're doing a masterful job of building interest for this match and for the entire PLE. Overall, another really strong episode of Raw on Netflix. For the third week in a row, the main event delivers, and each week the storytelling is getting stronger and stronger. There's so many moving parts that you cannot miss a single second of the show, making every little moment seem more important. Next week's Raw is the final before the Royal Rumble, and I can't wait to see what they pull out for next week. But what did you think of last week's Raw? Who's your pick to win the Royal Rumble? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, click the bell to never miss a new video. I'm JR Judy, and I'll see you next time.
Say goodbye to all the hardcore fans, Charlie. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.